Greetings, this is Daniel Kremer for Trailers from Hell, and I'm at a chateau in the south of France, not far from the French Riviera, and I wanted to do a trailer for a film by Otto Preminger called Bonjour, Tristesse. Jean-Luc Godard once said that you could have ended Bonjour, Tristesse. You could have put a title card that said 3 years later, and you could have come up on his film Breathless. So both films actually star Jean Seberg. So without further ado, the trailer for Bonjour, Tristesse.
Françoise Sagan, who at the age of 21 has written 3 bestsellers.
This is a truncated version of a much longer so-called trailer, which included an extended interview with, by then, 23-year-old author Françoise Sagan. But this is Drew Pearson, who was an NBC radio host and a notable opposition voice to Senator Joe McCarthy. It seems to me that Preminger, the promoter, was attempting to merge the idea of trailer with press kit. The original, once again, so-called trailer runs over 5 minutes, and I'm sure you can find the unexpurgated version elsewhere.
Every morning and say,
you might call me a Premingerian, a devoted Premingerian. I prefer him to many other filmmakers who are venerated by the elite of film scholars. Of course, with Bonjour, Tristesse, which was remade just recently, that was Otto's shot at proving the critics wrong after they had taken great pains, or more like joy, in deriding his Saint Joan, also starring Jean Seberg in her much-publicized debut. The verdict on that one was that Seberg had been horribly miscast, or at the very least, she wasn't ready to take on such a momentous role as Joan of Arc. Not to be outdone or second-guessed, Preminger immediately bought the rights to Françoise Sagan's novel Bonjour, Tristesse and cast Seberg in the role of the spoiled and frivolous Cecile, daughter of playboy Raymond, played by David Niven. Father and daughter live a decadent life, and when Deborah Kerr comes along to stabilize the environment, well, their lightness of being becomes unbearable, you might say. When American critics attacked Seberg all over again, the French critics, especially those certain monsieurs at the Cahiers du Cinéma, applauded Seberg and the film. Among its fiercest advocates were François Truffaut, who called Seberg the, quote, best actress in Europe, and especially Jean-Luc Godard, who cast her in his own debut, À bout de souffle, which we know better in America as Breathless just a year later. Seberg lived quite a sad life, and her career went rather curious directions. Otto was certainly unkind towards her when he was directing her, but the triumph here is truly his handiwork. The south of France looks as ravishing as it's ever looked in any film. So many of the frames are like paintings if you look at them in isolation, and it fits in quite tidily with an overall Preminger vision. It's a highlight in his filmography. It seems Preminger is ever more the divisive filmmaker, or an acquired taste for some, but I don't see how you can argue with his mastery of staging and camera in this era, with his objective style and approach. And when it comes to the new remake, well, when it comes to Otto Preminger, I say, accept no substitutes.